I also got sent to Vegas for Bohemian Rhapsody. So like that was really cool. So I got to go like meet Queen, which was wild.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Hollywood Lot Life podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of the elusive entertainment industry. If you've ever dreamed of working in Hollywood or making it as a studio executive, then this is the podcast for you. This show is brought to you both on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. So wherever you may be listening from, thank you for joining us. Today, we're diving into the dynamic world of media and broadcasting with a spotlight on an integral role at one of the industry giants, the BBC Studios. The British Broadcasting Corporation is one of the oldest and most respected broadcasting organizations globally. Unlike many other broadcasters, the BBC is funded primarily through a licensing fee paid by households in the UK. This unique funding model allows the BBC to operate without commercial interruptions, focusing solely on delivering high-quality content. Today, I have one of my old coworkers at 20th Century Fox who currently works at the BBC. So Cara has worked her entire career in the entertainment/media space. Cara has worked for TV stations at Fox and the studios, as well as Disney, and is currently an account manager at the BBC. We're going to switch it up a little bit this episode. Instead of our guest being in LA, Cara is actually based in the beautiful city of New York. And she just, as a note, she works with the BBC and doesn't represent the company. So, Cara, welcome onto the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it and my experience. 1 second, I do have a puppy. I'm just going to grab her real quick so she can hopefully stop barking.
So cute, no worries.
This is Rory.
Hello, Rory. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rory. She's only 3.5 months, so she's really a baby.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah, she's a little mini schnauzer, just like my family dog.
So what do you currently do at the BBC? What is your current title?
So what I currently do at the BBC is I'm an account manager for the brand partnerships team. So basically, yeah, I'm the liaison between our creative, like in-house creative team and then our sales reps. So basically what we do is we sell inventory on our BBC site as well as custom pages. And we actually create content for other companies. So I kind of work in the middle. So I make sure that everything that's sold is accurate in terms of like the metrics we sell and in terms of cost. And then as well as with the creative team to make sure everything is executed to the client's expectations. So it's just kind of like a really nice middle ground because I don't necessarily want to be creative and I don't necessarily want to be sales. So I like the fact that I'm there to execute and make sure the campaign does really well. And I have a great time doing it.
So like for those at home that have no idea what you just said, give me like the super simple breakdown of like a third grader would understand what you kind of do.
So say there's a video like series on YouTube. And say it's like a custom video series. Say like a brand comes to us and is like, hey, like I want to talk about sustainability. What ideas can you bring? And so we actually come up with the ideas. So we come up with like our messaging and we use our brand in order like a partnership. So we are able to leverage we're able to bring up their brand by creating the actual like video information and story, and then also putting it on our site in order to kind of just get more eyes.
So you're not per se, promoting The Crown or whatever the newest British drama show is on.
No, I'm not on the complete studio side. I'm mostly on the like business side.
Okay, so let's rewind the clock a little bit. And talk. Let's start at the beginning. Are you originally from New York? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from LA. I'm from a little suburb within LA County, a little bit east of LA proper. So it's called West Covina. So I grew up there and I got my first job in the industry in LA. And it was like in Santa Monica area.
Was that like an internship or what was that?
Oh, sorry, actually, if you go back to my internship was actually
let's go all the beginning.
Intern. Yeah, like I was a casting intern during school. So I would cast for like scripted and non-scripted television. So that was really cool. And that was like based in Burbank. I would like be there on interviews to like take minutes, meeting minutes, and create one sheets of the actual talent, and then like be there for the auditions kind of thing.
And what were you studying at school? Where did you go to school?
I went to California State University, Fullerton. So it's like in the OC area. And I studied communications and business of entertainment.
And you feel like that kind of led you transition? Like, was your dream always to work in entertainment, or were you in school and like, oh, I'm not sure what to do?
It's the latter. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew I enjoyed working on like the back end of entertainment and kind of just like not necessarily being in front of the camera, but like seeing all of it flesh out, and then also just managing a like project. Like that looked really fun.
And then when you graduated, you went straight into Fox, or what was your path right out of college?
Right out of college, I had, like applied to a bunch of jobs because I just needed a job. And I honestly was just going to like make money to travel. And I ended up at this insurance company, and I was there for like a week, but I had applied to multiple entertainment places, and then I got a call from Fox, and then I went through the interview process, and then like I said bye to the insurance company because I luckily got the job. But it was like a really crazy way of getting it because I just applied on like their general website or even just like Indeed or something.
And what was the position for?
That position, so I was like a sales assistant. And coordinator.
In the TV space, where in Fox were you?
Yeah, in like local TV space.
Okay, so you're like, what were you doing?
So my position was basically to support account executives for sales on LA television.
So you worked there for about a year and a half, and then you decided to quit. What happened after that?
So I decided to quit, and then after that, crazily enough, the week I was going to quit, I got a call from the studio side of Fox rather than like the TV station, 20th Century Studios, for a temp job. It's non-theatrical marketing. So basically, I would work with a team that managed the movies that Fox put out for like airlines or like cruise ships kind of thing. So it was like, non-theatrical. So like I was a temp there for maybe like 6 months. And then I was actively interviewing for a full-time role at 20th Century Fox as well.
And then you got the call from Fox and moved over again, or what? And
then I was actively interviewing at the same time for a full-time role within the digital marketing department. And then I luckily, gratefully ended up landing that role, which was great. That was my full-time job with the international and domestic digital marketing team within the 20th Century like film.
And
team.
What does a digital job entail?
So my role was initially it was the like digital marketing coordinator under the EVP, which was Julian, and he was the head of our team. So I was mostly like his assistant, and then also assisting the team where needed, like scheduling meetings, making sure everyone's like invoices were paid, and working like alongside all the other teams. So that was my role as a coordinator, and then working on their digital marketing campaigns. So say there's like a film that's about to release, so we're doing a lot of like digital marketing activations whether it be like influencer events or just regular digital media, like or digital social media campaigns, and like filming a lot of stories. But yeah, so that's me. That was my role. And I had moved from a digital marketing coordinator over to the integrated marketing coordinator for like the international team. So I moved from like being under Julian, then moving under Trisha and Brigitte, who were my bosses on the international side. And they managed I would pretty much manage all the global markets now. So I wasn't just working like under an SVP or EVP coordinating his schedule. I was like I was the person to communicate to all the markets about what we were doing in the US as a like digital marketing campaign, because they needed our guidance in order to understand like how they want to localize, make sure it was accurate for their market.
So like in Brazil, if the movie Love, Simon's coming out, making sure they're posting the right posters and the right trailers and the right, all that stuff.
Exactly. So making sure they're posting the approved assets basically, or creative for the posters, for the actual digital like social launches on so if you see on Instagram one post that says coming soon at this date or something like that, but making sure it's like the right image that's approved by the talent, that's approved by our studio, like all of that needs to come from our home base first in order for it to be global.
Were you caught up in the whole Disney Fox acquisition merger?
I was there till the very end, I would say. I mean, not when everyone already transitioned over to Disney, but when they were going through that process. So I was offered a job by Disney, and it was like a crossroads moment because it was an amazing role. Like, it would have been such a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity. I think it was just like one of those, like, if I don't move to New York now, I won't ever do it. It was like an opportunity to make that decision.
Got it. So you were like, I want to move to New York. I want to see what it's all about. I have this job offer, but I'm not sure. So you decided to move to New York?
Yeah, I did. I decided that it's either now or never. And like in my head, I was like, I would love this role, but I think I also would know what my life would look like in 5 years. I don't want to know. I wanted to like take the adventure and like not know.
And did you have a job lined up, or did you just move?
I had no job. Yeah,
crazy.
It was crazy. I think, my mom tells me too, she's like, at least you're going with experience, right? Like, so I'm very grateful for like working with the studios. I had no job for maybe 2-3 months, but I luckily had saved. And then I ended up getting a role at BBC.
And was that during COVID, or when did you?
It was right before COVID. So it was like 2019, like September 2019, when I moved, and then I got the role in November.
Okay, so luckily you had the job.
Yeah.
You weren't like sitting at home.
Yeah, that would have been really crazy. But so I'm very, very thankful. But yeah.
And so when you went to the BBC, like, what happened during COVID? Was everything locked down, just on hold, or what was going on for you?
Business-wise, everything was weirdly busier because I think everyone almost relied on digital to get get themselves out there, because everyone's like at home, they're on their phones, like that's what they're looking at right now. Yeah, so during the pandemic, it was like kind of busy, but it wasn't like, nothing changed for the worse, thankfully. It was just, I still gratefully had a job. I still worked more hours.
And so you've been there now, what, 4 years?
Yeah, almost at 5. By November, I'll be 5 years.
So here's a question for you. Where have you enjoyed working more, in LA or in New York?
If I'm saying like enjoyment, I would say like the creative side is much more in LA. Like I really enjoy that part of it. And New York is like very, how do I explain it? Like very business oriented, right? Like that's like entertainment capital is LA. It is like, that is where the creatives are. That's where the magic happens. And New York is where you get that money. So it's just a very different mindset. I would say I enjoy LA more, working in the industry, for sure. Because you get so many more opportunities in the industry. Here, it's like you have more opportunity working in like the finance side here, or the business side as a business partner or something like that, rather than like creative coordinator.
Yeah.
So I think the opportunities are just not as common if you want to be a creative person, for sure. So I would say LA.
So what are some of your like favorite experiences working in your career, or like memorable moments that you can think about?
I definitely have some great moments with Fox. They, Julian sent me to Brazil for Brazil Comic Con, and that was by far my highlight of my career. So that opportunity was insane. Like, I got to go to Sao Paulo. I took a side trip to Rio, but going there with our team, like I was the only person from our team to go. And then I was there like taking some footage of Brazil Comic. I've never even been to Comic Con here. So going there and then like getting to meet like Sophie Turner, like Jessica Chastain, like having dinner with them to promote Dark Phoenix was like insane. Another one was I also got sent to Vegas for Bohemian Rhapsody. So like that was really cool. So I got to go like meet Queen, which was wild. So I got to meet the band, and then like we got to go to their concert and like promote the work. I had to work with influencers who were amazing influencers who like leaned on me for support. So like it was really nice. And then lastly, I would say with Fox, they had a live stream with James Cameron that my direct boss like worked her butt off for. And she, like, it was because of Alita that he even created, like, a social media account, like, he never did.
No way.
And, like, working on a live stream, like, getting this man to do, like, that for his project, like, with us is, like, crazy to me. And so I would say, like, on the film side, that was such great memories. And then, like, in my work now on the media side, we do have those opportunities. They're just not as direct. Like, we worked for a brand like video series, we're working or trying to work with like bigger names as well, And like, I also think it's just like BBC in general is so trusted and great as a content studio that like I really do love like the content we put out. And they also like a good experience for me. It's not necessarily a project, but like the culture at BBC is so great. Like they really, I just feel very cared for there as an employee. So that's why I've been there for almost 5 years.
So right now I'm like wanting to pack my bags, move back to LA or New York, getting back into entertainment. But like, what are some of the struggles for you that you've gone through where you're just like, this sucks, this isn't as fun? Because like all those stories sound incredible and so fun.
There are so many things too that I think, you know, people don't see about the industry. Like sometimes even if you are just like entry level position, people don't really listen to you. Like they don't necessarily care for your opinion until they have to, I guess. I felt that, you know, in many parts of my roles. And, you know, I just also have dealt with people who like hate their jobs and like, I mean, that's any industry, right? But, and like they kind of just like were unhappy. So it kind of just rolled on to the rest of us. Like, I think everyone in the industry now has probably had a horror story of their first experience. Like, whether it be at an agency or just like the first role ever. Sometimes the hours are crazy.
So true.
The hours could be crazy. Like I think for the live stream, Trisha and I stayed at the office like till 11. Like it was just kind of wild. Like because also we have to work on like through the different time zones, working for the other markets. You know, so it's like that could be tough, but sometimes you know it'll be worth it.
So we talk about all these cool things and about who you know, but break it down for me. What advice would you give to those who are just starting out their career, wanting to break in, you know, don't really have much experience on their resume? Do you have any advice for those people who are just getting started?
I think what's helped for me, and I know this might be not what everyone's told you, but everyone says to network. Absolutely. Like networking events, I think just for me, like I'm not the best networker to just like come up to someone and be like, hey, like I do this. But I think what has worked for me and advice I would give is like search for the opportunities, like join the communities that have those. Like I joined a lot of Facebook groups that are like production assistant needed, or like sometimes even just like being an extra on a show. Like anyone could do that, honestly. And like you could kind of talk to more people that way. Like I've actually met a lot of people who now have been able to give me like opportunities, like random opportunities, but they will keep you in mind more that way if it's an organic and natural relationship. And that's like something I've really learned. And also just like, don't say no to don't say no to everything. Say yes to as much as you can, even if it's not like exactly what you were looking for, because I didn't know until I did the work and I was like, oh wait, I actually enjoy this. Or I don't really actually like this at all. So it's like, that's something I would really give advice for, is just like saying yes to more and keeping an open mind. Because I think for me, like even just growing as a person, like there's so much I don't know that I won't know until I do, you know? So that, and just always just like this is so, you know, cliche, but like stay true to you, even if it's like not what the industry is normally like, because that they need that at the end of the day. Like the industry needs people who are just like, I know me and I'm going to stick to that, because like you never know like how it could work out. It could always just be, and I think it's actually something I learned from my old boss, Julian. Like he was just true to himself, very outspoken, very confident, but like kind. But like, and that's someone I respect, you know, and that's definitely someone I've learned from.
Well, and the authenticity, I think, is so true. I think there's so many opportunities to lie and, you know, backstab people that you see so often. But when you're just truly yourself and represent, you know, your standards and morals and stuff like that, like it will break through. And people understand that.
Yeah. And even then, like you also like, don't be afraid to also like disagree sometimes with like an idea or an opinion, like just because like say it's higher up, like you could obviously say it in a better way, but like they want to hear your ideas, they want to hear what you can contribute, even because you also come from probably a different generation and you probably come from a different mindset, so they want that. as much as like, maybe people won't, but like you should.
Oh,
be that
for sure.
person.
100%.
Yeah. Be that person in the room and be like, maybe like we try this way and like, or what do you guys think? Like providing ideas, even if like, because I remember sitting in so many conference room meetings in like, I think it was like 221 or something, that big.
Yeah.
And then, or like even the smaller ones, and I was like, I don't know, I don't like think that like they're talking about like millennials or like what we look for, and I was like, I don't think that will be great. And sometimes I didn't speak up because I was just like nervous or like like I'm the one with I'm like the lowest level in the room, so I'm just like, will they listen? Will they care?
Totally.
But they do, because like they want to do a good job.
Well, and I was thinking, like you saying that story, I remember sitting in those conference rooms filled with people. It's not like 5 people. It's like 40, 50 people. And they're throwing around these ideas. And I remember sitting there being like, oh, that's a bad idea. That will not work. And leaving the meeting, talking to my boss, being like, then I'll tell to her, hey, I did not like that idea. And she's like, well, why didn't you say anything? And I was like, I like you just said, it's like, I am like the lowest of the totem pole. They're not going to listen to me. And it's like, yeah, but if it's a bad idea and it's targeted to people like you have to say something. And I'm like, okay, good to know. And going forward, I did that. And it would like definitely, sometimes you're right. People want to hear their idea and, want that to happen. But other times it's like, okay, what do you think then? And it's like, gives you that chance to, say your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I actually just thought of another thing, advice-wise. I have learned that, like, literally, like, just asking for a coffee with someone higher up, like, as intimidating as that sounds, it is so, like, one, people love to talk about themselves. So they'll probably be like, oh, wow. I actually just had a coffee with someone at my company who gave me such great advice. And I was very specific, too, because I like the way she presents herself. So, like, if you have an idea, too, of, like, what you want to learn, kind of, like, be more granular with it as well. Like, I loved the way she was able to get her point across, and like she was very profound, but didn't say a lot, but still made a lot of impact. So like, I want to be that person in the room, right? So I was always, I kind of go to those people and be like, what got you here? What have you learned to be a better speaker? And like, and to like take a step back and like not stress out, because that's a hard one for me, is like, if there's a lot on my plate, sometimes I get overwhelmed and I just like shut down or I like freak out. But like those people I always look for advice from, is just like asking them what their tools are and how they learn. Like, learning for me never stops. So yeah, I really enjoy learning from others, especially like in my industry. So that's something that helps me.
Well, and it makes me think, when you say that, it's like putting yourself out there when you're talking to these people and going to coffees and stuff like that. It's like, people don't know what's in your mind. You may think, I want to do this, or I want to go here. But like sitting down with somebody, they're not going to know that unless you put that out there and let them know that that's what you want to do. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cause that's a great point. I think for a long time I was like, I wanted to be the helpful, quiet person that was like, doesn't make any trouble, or like, because how our executives are so busy, you just don't want to bother them. But it's like, you really don't know until you ask them, because more often than not, they're willing to help because they've been there.
So the kind of last thing I wanted to ask you, outside of work, have you done anything fun or interesting in the city that you want to highlight or talk about on the show?
Yeah, so I live very close to a small bar that I would go to as a regular to watch Laker games by myself. Nice. Because I just was tired of watching it in my apartment. And I ended up being a regular there. I'm not a drinker at all. I would go there for like maybe a mule or something. But then like eventually just mocktails. And then I was there so often, like I ended up, like meeting my boyfriend and then working there. Yeah, it was quite the New York love story.
Wait. And then you said working there?
Yeah. So basically they needed a bar back, which is like the person that helps with like the kegs or clears out the glasses, helps the bartender like refill their garnishes and the like lemons and lime kind of thing. So I started there as a bar back because the owner just like saw me there and just like, you talk to people, like, would you want to just try this out? And I was like, yeah, make money and I live right here. Totally. Work with my boyfriend. And so I started as a bar back, and then I eventually decided like I enjoyed it, and I went to like a bartending school, got a certification so that I could become a bartender. So long story short, like the owner herself like wanted to move, like she was trying to sell the bar. And so she moved while keeping the bar under myself and my boyfriend. So like it was just the two of us.
Crazy.
Yeah. So he managed the bar while I became head bartender. So like it was like a crazy time, and I absolutely loved it. She did just sell it, so it's now no longer there. So I don't work there anymore, but I do want to try it again.
Man, you're just living the life in New York.
Yeah, it's actually crazy to think about. I don't like think about it often until like I do. It's weird.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been so fun to catch up and talk about your life and what you've been up to. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. It's also just good catching up with you. It's been like forever, but I know we're always, like I said, like bonded. And Rory also wants to say thank you.
Yeah, it's so good to see you.
Like, I'm sorry, I was barking.
Anytime.
Thank you.
And then everybody listening at home, thank you for joining us, listening, getting all the insights. If you have anything you want to add, please leave it down in the comments, or, let us know. If you have a question for Cara, definitely reach out. And, tell your friends and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you on the next one.